Hello class. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a repeat pattern and how to turn that pattern into a swatch. Okay, and so anyway, this was where we left off in our last tutorial where I had created illustrated elements to adapt to this design right here. Okay, anyway, what you're going to be needing to do is you're going to be needing to take your elements, improve them, and make sure they're symbols. And we're going to talk about duplicating symbols so we can alter color. Anyway, this design originally I created a demo about over a little over 2 years ago using these same elements that I had created last week. But I took those, by the way, those elements, and I decided I was going to improve them, and I created this. And this is a pattern. As you can see, it really repeats. And you can see also, I've changed the color. I've added more details. Okay. I've added cast shadows. I've added shadows. And I turned this into a pattern swatch. And I put it on a huge rectangle. And then I had that printed onto a blanket. And I actually gave it to someone for Christmas. Okay. I actually gave it to one of my nieces. And there's all kinds of places that you can find that will actually print your designs on products. I think I used Zazzle. But anyway, that same Christmas, I also printed this pattern on a blanket for another niece, and this one too. This has to do with starlings. And then I think that was it. I think there is one other pattern, but I don't think I have it loaded. So anyway, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you how to make it into a swatch so we can put it on to multiple things. So anyway, let's go over here. Now this is where I left off. I actually created a new pattern out of the elements, and this is what I had created. But let's actually go to revert this thing because I'm going to go and start off again. I actually have that saved. Okay, there we go. Okay, now. So what you're going to be needing to do is this. You are going to, if anything, so that you keep your symbols, you can save your document as a different document. So you can retitle it and save it as a totally new document. So you will actually keep your symbols that you have worked on, okay? And you can also duplicate a symbol and work on it more, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to actually take this and duplicate this piece of pie here, and one of the things we can do with this is we can actually change its color, so we can have two symbols that are similar but have different colors. So I'm going to actually change this so this maybe becomes more like a piece of pumpkin pie. Okay, I'm going to duplicate it again. And the way I'm duplicating is I'm dragging it into this new symbol button, or you can also go over here, duplicate symbol. So now I've got three symbols that look like pumpkin pie or slices of pumpkin pie. But anyway, let's double click one and we'll alter this one. And I wanted to alter this one to look kind of more like, let's see if we can get it to looking the way I wanted it to look. That's probably close enough there. I wanted to kind of look a little bit like maybe coconut cream. I'm just trying to make some different color pie fillings. This one will make it look like chocolate. So we'll add more cyan. We'll up the magenta some. There we go. That's nice. And then each time what I'm doing is I'm exiting out, exit symbol editing. And then we'll make one more. Okay? And this one we'll duplicate, and then we'll turn this into more of a greenish color, okay, so that we can have like a key lime pie, okay. So anyway, let's exit out of that, and what you're going to be needing to do is we need to make we're going to start off with a rectangle, okay. So each of our designs that we're going to make for this assignment and from here on out, we're always going to start with a rectangle, and that rectangle can be a square, and it can be portrait, or it can be a horizontal rectangle. It could be long, okay? It could be average size. Like right now, I got this size, but we can change that, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be dragging these pieces of pie out, So we'll have a pattern here that has several pieces of pie, and I think, am I missing one? Yeah, I skipped over and forgot this one. Okay, so if we don't like any of the colors too, like if I wanted to change this color because I didn't like it, I can actually go in and change it again, which is great because if we had multiples of those out there, it would change them all. And so I'm just changing that one for a second there and see what that looks like. Maybe a little too light, so I'm going to go back and change it again. All right, so we'll just up the yellow in this. There we go. Okay, so we're up the yellow just a little bit more. Up the magenta just a wee bit, not too much. Okay, now let's exit out. So see, that's the great thing about symbols is you can always go in there and change their colors. And if we have multiples of the same symbol, like let's say we've got this lemon wedge slice here, we can make one larger, one smaller. So I'm going to be doing that. And then if we wanted to change its color, we'll just double click the original here. We can go in there and we can up that yellow more. Make it very yellow, maybe add a little bit of that. There we go. And so we can always make changes like this, okay? So I'm just playing around here just to show you that this will change them, change all of them, okay? So anyway, let's continue on. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a repeat pattern. And one of the things we can do to make a repeat pattern is we can have different colors of the same element, okay? We'll add other elements in a little bit. But the other thing is we can play with size as I was doing before here. So I'm going to make another slice of that, but then we'll make it larger. Okay, whoa, we don't want to distort it. Okay, so we can make different sizes. And I just accidentally rotated it, but that's what I was going to talk about next was we can rotate. Because one of the patterns you must make for this assignment is called a toss. And a toss is where all your elements are rotated at different angles so that if we're looking at, let's say, a blanket, in any direction we're looking, we can still see the elements. They're, you know, especially if they're like standing or they're supposed to be seen from a certain angle, you can still see some of the elements, and you just gotta kind of walk around that blanket, and you'll see, you know, elements at different angles. Okay, so that's what a toss is. Okay, so let's just play around with this a little bit more here. I'm just moving things around here. We'll move this here, and I'm going to make a duplicate of it, and maybe make this even larger here, and then might just flip it all the way over. I'm going to move this up more. Okay, so we're just going to play with rotating and movement and position within this rectangle, and we can also change the color of this rectangle. We don't have to keep that same color. We can make that color different, you know, whether it's a grayish or, I'm going to take the yellow out, see here. So what kind of color we could use for this. Yeah, and then maybe I'll up the yellow. Yeah, there we go. I'm kind of back to where I was at, but a little darker, a little bit more contrast there. Okay, so you can play around with the background color. All right, so I'm just moving these things around. I'm thinking about like, well, we don't have a duplicate of that, so we'll duplicate this and we'll make it smaller. And we'll rotate it upside down. Okay. And then these two, yeah, it's just a matter of continuing to move things like this. I'm going to change a little bit. Maybe I'll point that up a little bit more so it fits in there. We don't want to go past the border of the rectangle, okay, because it will make our pattern, it will make a gap there where we see white. Okay, so let's say that we're arranging these things, and I'm going to put another one over here of that, and we'll flip it all the way upside down here. Oops, that's too much like the other one. So maybe it's just a matter of playing around with different angles here. Next tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make actions so that you can do this a little faster. You know, we can have a keyboard shortcut. And I'm just trying to make sure that these are at different angles, different sizes. Okay, and then we'll add some other elements to it. So one of the other elements I'm going to add is cookies. Because, yeah, we could make a pattern of just pies, but it gets a little boring. You know? And we want to make this kind of a very exciting pattern. So I'm going to take my cookie here. I'm going to bring one of these out here, and maybe we need to adjust that color of the background because notice this cookie's a little hard to see off that background. So I'm going to drop that down and really bring up our yellow a little bit more. There we go. Maybe it's something more like that. I'm just playing around with color. We can always make changes more later. I'm going to drop that down. Maybe, oops, let me select that. All right, there we go. I want to be able to see everything. Okay, good. I can see most things with that. So one of the things I'm going to do with my cookie is I'm going to duplicate it again. Okay, so let's duplicate this first cookie. The other cookie, by the way, if we look at it, it has a cast shadow, and that's just not going to work for a toss unless you change that cast shadow as far as where it's positioned as each time, and that would take a lot to do here. But so we're going to keep the cast shadow off, but let's double click this symbol here, and we'll make this a well, let's select the chocolate chips, and we'll make them white chocolate chips. Okay, so we'll just exit out of there, and then we'll drag this over here. Okay, we'll zoom out. And, whoops. Move that somewhere. And we'll rotate that in just a, well, actually, we'll rotate it right now while we've got it. And we'll make it a little larger. Make it a little larger cookie there. Okay. So it takes up a little bit more space. Then we're going to duplicate that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to duplicate the chocolate chip one, because I am going to actually use that color and make this a chocolate chip cookie, so that the cookie part looks kind of like chocolate. So we're going to just click on it and then use my eyedropper, change that color. But then we're going to take out the black so it's a little bit lighter like that. If we want to, we could probably take take the magenta down. Nah, maybe this cyan. I'm just playing around here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's nice. We just want enough contrast. Pull that over here. Okay, we'll position this. And I'm hoping this recording takes. I've recorded this over 5 times today, and the recording gets stuck and something happens. So I can't wait, because I have a new computer coming this week. But my old Mac is just about to give out on me as far as being able to be functional and dependent. And let's see here. Yeah, that's a good location for that. So let's take this cookie and duplicate it really quickly here. And we're going to change the chocolate chips. Let's zoom in here. And I'm going to use my magic wand over here and click on the chocolate chips and make those white chocolate chips. Okay, so like that. So now we've got a 4th cookie color. Okay, and bring that there. There we go. Oops. And then we're going to take that and we'll rotate it. And we'll position that. So we're going to put another one of these over here perhaps. And what we're doing is, this is something that I was shown by one of our graduates who went on to work at Carter's Oshkosh Bagosh, located at their headquarters is in Buckhead, as far as doing all this baby clothing. And I have taken students to there. They were nice enough to grant my students a tour of their facilities and their offices and how they work. But anyway, Roxanne came in and she showed how they make a pattern repeat and how that works. And so that's why I'm showing you. And one of the things they do is they start off with a rectangle and their elements, and they turn them into symbols like we're doing in this. Let me make this cookie. We'll turn it upside down. There we go. We'll move it over here. Let me make it just a little bit larger. All right. We're just spacing everything out so that, because we're looking at the positive and negative space, okay? And I think we're just about ready here. I'm going to copy this cookie here, and we'll flip it another direction, and we might take this cookie here and just kind of do like this. So once we get enough of this, and we want enough variation here, that we are going to see and kind of sample look. We're going to look at it and see if it will work here. let me see. I'm going to do one more here. I see a couple of little areas here. Maybe make that. Okay, so let's see what we can make here. Because what I'm going to do is, once I get this rotate just a little bit more here, I'm going to take everything and group it. Command G. And then what I'm going to do is, I am going to copy this, all these things, by just moving it and then holding down my Alt key or my Option key and my Shift key. Okay? And then that will duplicate it. And so we can begin to see what it would look like if it becomes a pattern. Okay? And we'll do the same again so that we can see all sides of it. And we can see it, and you know, it's not bad. I'm looking at my elements. That's how they're located. And one of the things we're trying to do is, you know, we're trying to avoid like this area right here where I've got two pieces of key lime pie because I got one here and one here. So we got to swap that out there, okay? And so that's one of the things I need to do. I'm looking at all the edges here, and they don't look too bad. Maybe this cookie could become a little bit bigger, okay? So let's take that, one of these key lime pie pieces, and all we got to do is we delete these things because we don't need that. We're gonna duplicate them again to see in a moment after we change out this piece of pie here. And we'll ungroup it, Shift Command G, okay. And I'm wondering, can I? Nope. Yeah, I was just thinking off the top of my head, but that's not going to work there. Okay, Command G, there we go. I think I regrouped that by mistake. So we're going to take this piece of key lime pie, and we'll just move this. We'll move this out. We'll move this up. And we'll rotate that to be in the same position there. Okay, kind of like that. Maybe make this piece of pie just a little bit bigger. Then we'll put this piece of key lime pie down here. Rotate its position. Make it a little bit different rotation than that pumpkin. Okay, like that. And now let's take a look when we repeat this. So we'll select them. Command G. And then we start to move. We'll hold down our Alt and Option key and our Shift key there, okay? And we can see what this looks like, and we'll duplicate this. And so this gets to, we might need to do this quite a few times here. This is what Roxanne was doing when she came into my classroom, and I tried to remember what she was doing, and I had to finally do my own pattern to memorize it because I'd written things down, but I didn't quite remember everything. But now, after doing this enough times, I know how they do things. And I'm just looking at this area right here. And what I mean by that is we kind of have you can see a line, a seam. We can try to eliminate that as much as possible. We can't overlap, but one of the things is we can play around with the distance these shapes are to the edge. So what I'm going to do is let's take these and delete these, and we're going to go back in here, and we're going to play around with how close to the edge some of these things are. So I'm going to take this piece of, ungroup that, Shift Command G, and bring this over here so it's much closer, okay? Let me bring that there. And I'm going to bring this cookie really close to the edge too also, just to kind of break things up. We might bring this cookie over to that edge, and let's just see what that did to it, okay? Because this will alter it each time that we're doing this. We're going to take that, we'll group it, Command G, and then we duplicate it to see, yeah, see that gets broken up a little bit better there, okay? And that's what you're looking at. You're looking at how things get repeated. Okay, so that doesn't look bad. I like that, okay? So once we get it to now I'm looking here too. See, I could actually alter this a little bit more perhaps. And I'm thinking maybe if I bring, I'm looking here, so maybe this cookie, let's see here, or this piece, oh, there we go. We got a lemon piece pie right there next to a lemon piece pie. So let's see, there's always issues here. So let's take this, we'll delete it, and this may seem redundant, but this is what you're going to need to do, and this is what I do each time I make a pattern, is I move things around enough so that when we see it, We'll take this. Let's see here. We don't see the. We try to eliminate all of our. I'm going to move that piece down here and flip it around. But anyway, when we see the finished result, it's going to be worth it because this is really what you have to do. You have to do a lot of editing here. Oops, guess I didn't ungroup that. Okay, I just ungrouped it. There we go. I'm going to bring this piece of chocolate pie here and maybe back it up. Oh, don't want to do that. I noticed that piece of pie over there. At least these cookies are separating it. Okay. And we'll bring this piece of pie really close to the edge there. Let's see. Take that cookie over further. Maybe make this cookie go up a little bit more over here. And we'll see. Yeah, let's see. We got 2 lemon slices. So let me see here. Got pumpkin. I'm thinking out loud. Thinking here. Well, let's go with this for the moment and just see what we can get here. And let me rotate this piece differently. And maybe substitute with this one right here. Oh, that's kind of a nice location. And we'll just rotate this to be different. Enlarge it more. Okay. And we could put other elements in here too. But I think this may work better. Let's see what this looks like, okay? And so each time we do this, we're just rearranging things. We'll group that again. Okay, I like that edge better. We'll see what this looks like down here. And that's not bad. That's not bad. These cookies are a little close here. I mean, these pieces of pie here are a little close. But let's say that because we can always make alterations of this, and we'll show you that in just a moment. So I am going to take this, even with its sort of a few areas that we can change. Maybe, let's see here. Maybe it's this. Whoops, ungroup that for just a second. I'm going to try one more time. And I'm crossing my fingers that my recording does not poop out on me, because that has been an issue I've been running into. Okay, bring that up, maybe like that. Okay, so we can take that and group it, move it over here, and then again, and so I'm redoing this before I do a swatch. Yeah, see, that's nice. So the spacing there got a little bit better there. You know, oh, we got 2 of these pumpkins. There's always going to be something we run into, but let me see. Take that out. Get in here. And group that. So we got lemon there, we got pumpkin there, we got lemon meringue there. Maybe we can get away with another piece of chocolate. Let's see here. I'm going to move this up here. Enlarge it. I could rotate the same way, but I kind of like how that looks. It's just a matter of moving things, keeping some space in between there. And we're going to see one more time what this looks like. So group it again, Command G. I'm going to pull it over here. See, this is what it takes in order to do this stuff, is repeating this. And a lot of my students who've taken this class, they have patterns in their portfolio and they forget how to do this. And we were doing a portfolio review with the professionals at the end of the winter term, and they were being asked questions about how their patterns are made and everything, and they weren't using symbols, they weren't using the swatches, and some of them weren't even using Illustrator. So, you know, basically, you know, they weren't employable because the fact that they weren't doing the same way as the professionals were doing it. So let's say I like this one, okay? And I'm crossing my fingers here that my recording does not poop out, as I said before, because that's been what's happening. So we drag that over. It creates a swatch. So first we've got to bring up our swatches palette and then drag that all in there, okay? Then what we're going to be doing is we're going to make a new layer. And on this new layer, we're going to make a rectangle. And it's going to fill the entire page here, like this. Okay. And bring that over just a little bit more. It can go outside. It can go outside the page. That's not bad. That's close enough. And now, make sure your fill is sitting on top, and then we're going to put the swatch in there. And there we go. There's my repeat pattern, okay? And that's turning it into a swatch. Now, once it's a swatch, we can still make alterations, okay? There's still things we can do to it, because we can go and double-click the swatch and actually come in here and move things around again, okay, if we need to. We can actually go in here and move things with the selection tool. So if we want to, we can move this here. We can even duplicate something here. I'm gonna move this up a little bit here. And then I'm gonna take this cookie and make it a little smaller. I duplicated that cookie. And it's gonna do it to all of them, okay? Alright, so that just changed the whole pattern. It changes it all at once, okay? So that's one way we can change it. Now, the other thing we can do here is we can actually offset it more, because this is actually done pretty well. I don't see much of a line as far as a seam. But if we want to make it a little bit more seamless, we can go to this over here, which is our tile type. And instead of using grid, we'll use brick by row. We can use brick by column too, but for this, I think brick by row will work. And as you can see, I mean, I know it looks a little odd there, but we got to look at this more. And, it's not doing a bad job. We can play around with it, because you could do it by 1/4. See that? Actually, that's nice. I like the 1/4. Do it 1/3. Okay, I like the 1/4 better. I'm going to go down to 2/3. 2/3 looks nice. Let's say we do 2/3, and just say we're done with it, and then all we got to do, we could save it as a copy, so we have another swatch, or we can just exit, and it will actually do that. Okay, and so we can do that again. I can duplicate. We can duplicate the swatch. We'll do it, and this time we're going to do brick by column, and we're going to offset those columns. Right now it's 2/3. We'll do 1/3 and see. Okay. 1/4, not bad. 3/4. Interesting. Okay, so you can just see the changes of how these get positioned there. I kind of like that. So let's exit out, or this time we'll save a copy, and I'll make a new swatch. I'll just say new pattern. All right, and then say okay, new pattern has been added to the swatch panel. Good. Okay, and then we'll exit out, and then we can apply this new pattern on there. So that's, I don't know if it actually changed that. It may not have. Yeah, it just did that. So it wasn't doing what I was expecting it to do. Okay, but anyway, that's how we create a pattern swatch. And I'm sorry, but I'm really worried that this is not recording well, and I want to get this recorded so you guys can see this and start on your next project. I've done this so many times today, like I said. This is, let's see, so that's a repeat pattern demo. Is this one I'm on right now? No. Okay, so this was one I did earlier. Okay, so we've got to make two. Now you can use totally different elements too. So let's see if we got anything else to show you. I think I've got cookie pattern 2. I got cookie, yeah. So this was this is actually one of the first ones I did. Yeah, see, that looks nice. Okay, so I've got several versions and several different cookies in there. Okay, so we want to make 2 completely new patterns out of those elements you have. Okay, and this will end our tutorial.